I wanted to tell a really powerful story about an individual that one day reframed his thoughts and was able to overcome this depression that he struggled with for so long. I was reading this paper on psychotherapy and specifically cognitive reframing. There was this idea in the reading about the power of perspective and how we decide to reframe how we picture a challenge, a situation, and specifically an unfortunate and potentially terrible situation. As I've talked about many times in Heroic Minds, it comes back to meaning and purpose. However it works deep inside us, we're able to find the courage and the willpower to deal with unfortunate circumstances. As the story goes, there was an old man that couldn't overcome his depression after losing his wife. And the therapist said to the old man, "What would have happened if you were the one who would have passed away and your wife was still alive?" And the old man thought to himself and reflected and said, well, she would be suffering just like I am. The therapist said to the old man, he said, "Yeah, this is your way of sacrificing for your wife. Because if it was the other way around, she would have been suffering, but instead you're taking that on for her." And all of a sudden, this old man found meaning and purpose in the suffering that he was dealt with. It was sacrifice for the sake of his beloved wife. A lot of times we get confused and we think that life is suffering. That's how people usually talk about the Buddhist belief of suffering. And the reality is that's not what they believe. What they actually believe is there's suffering in life. And we have to get to a point where when we do find ourselves in a situation where we are suffering, we decide to reframe that. We reframe that suffering so that we can find meaning and purpose within it, so that we can ultimately overcome that challenge just like that old man did. It reminds me of an unbelievable episode that we did on the Heroic Minds podcast with a young woman named Amber Schufelt who has cystic fibrosis. She decided her life was an opportunity to do everything she could, raising money, raising awareness for cystic fibrosis, so that people that are born with CF in the future will have a longer life. That ability is within every single one of us. And when you cognitively reframe any situation, it's powerful to figure out how capable we are.